We are live. Hello everybody. Is anybody there? It's been a while. Aha, Tajin Ahmed just joined and is the first. Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Hello my brothers and sisters. How are you all? How are you all? Hello, Kat, plays drums. How are you, darling? I so enjoyed hanging out in Glastonbury a year and a half ago with you when you played an awesome set with Katie. And then didn't we meet up with Lars Ulrich and his family and try and find the Glastonbury Dragon at like 6 in the morning? I think he was still there. Hope you're well. Love seeing your posts. Hello everybody. Wow. Oh. Yes, I'm okay, thanks. Yeah, what a 2 weeks, right? Wow. There's been a little light at the end of the tunnel for us all. Kat's just getting back to me and said, yes, we did hang out with Lars Ulrich from Metallica and his family and try and find the Glastonbury Dragon at 6 in the morning, which was actually next to the Stone Circle. Not far from the Healing Fields. So 6 in the morning. So yeah, hello everybody. Wow, 2 weeks ago, it felt like quite a different place, didn't it? Especially for our American cousins. That Saturday when it sort of came good for Biden was fairly exciting. I spoke to Mark, who's one of my managers, and he lives in Charlottesville, and he was driving his family to DC, and he said it was just amazing. Hi Sal, my son's joined. Yeah, I'm going to be getting critiqued, shall we say, later on. I've already been told how bad a lot of my photos are on it. But anyway, yes, so I digressed, of course. And Mark and his family went to DC, and they said it was like a street party, as it seemed to be in New York and other places. Howdy from Texas. Hi, guys. My family are in Texas. I got lovely family in Texas. Hi from Peru. Hi from Mexico. Hi from Argentina. Central and South America is in the house. Hi from New York City. Who else have we got? Brazil. Lots of Mexico. Charlottesville. Krista, 20 years in Charlottesville, Virginia. Love Charlottesville. And I couldn't sleep from days because of the election. Such a relief. California in the house. California. So, yeah, well. Saudi Arabia. Russia, St. Petersburg. That's cool. Gosh, it must be late there. I have to say, I know people take this shit for granted, but you know, I remember when, as Radiohead, we were doing webcasts, the first ones around the end of Kid A, and the excitement about being able to broadcast live on to 15 people or whatever the bandwidth was that we could was enormous. So I think it's a bit like when they probably had hot water through the pipes for the first time in your bath. You know, imagine what it was like that. Rather than heating up the water on a fire, you'd have a bath once a week. Suddenly the excitement you could turn on tap. It's a bit like this, isn't it? We take it for granted, but it is an incredible thing. And I love it. So, what has been going on? So that's good news on Biden. Vaccine seems promising. I don't know how you all feel about vaccines. I'm not anti-vaccine. I am pro-vaccines that are safe. So I'm a little bit concerned about... we always thought it was 18 months, and now that's been concertinaed. But I don't want to get into the vaccines just yet because I know we've all got quite strong feelings about it. I just want safe vaccines. and that they do their due diligence. And yeah, in fact, it would be good to talk. I'm not going to. It's a serious subject. It's a serious subject because I've got my reservations about all. But you know, I'm not going to dilute what we've got here by getting into vaccines because it's quite divisive. But maybe we should do a vaccine episode. Maybe we should talk to somebody who knows a lot about it. I've done a lot. My family, basically, all my family were in medicine, osteopaths, doctors, GPs, dentists. That's, you know, going back generations. So I'm sort of quite well versed in, you know, medicine, and I have there's the alternative side, I guess, from osteopathy, and then there's the kind of more straight down the road. So I got a bit of that. Yeah, fuck the vaccine. I'm sitting on the fence, right? I'm a doctor. I know about it. Let me join when you do it. Okay, Laura, can we talk when we do it? Let's do this properly. My vaccine is love. Hi, Jared. That's Jared. Jared is a friend and a wonderful. He's the kind of the main guy for 5 Elements acupuncture who practices in this country and teaches. And I'd love to get to talk to him sometime. And you know, he's really helped me, as he's helped a lot of people. And really helped me. So, all right, okay. So there's that, and well, in my own life, we've moved house, and as any of you knows who has moved house will know that it's not a lot of fun, and I haven't been a lot of fun, and I feel like my brain is gone. I feel like I don't have a personality. I feel like I'm exhausted because I think I left my soul, my personality at the recycling depot on probably the 8th run. Got one more trip to go. So anyway, I think I should pull somebody in. I've done enough waffling. It's time to pull one of you in, and I'd like to bring in Seal. I wanted to talk to my friends who were... There's Skeletopes. Skeletopes, hang in there. We will get to speak sometime. Let's just see. Where are the guys from... Where's my guys who are in... They're in Kentucky, Louisville, the band. Where are they? Are you guys there? Maybe we could talk later if you're not there. Okay, you're not there. Not there yet. All right, let's go for one of you. Oh yeah, here we are. Here are my guys. I'm going to come in. Pac G Worldwide. I wanted to talk to you guys anyway, see how you're doing. Okay, I'm sending a request for you to join. Here we go. Waiting. Here we are, connecting. Hey!
Hey, what's up, brother?
Hey, how are you, brothers?
We're doing well. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. What your names first? Because
I'm Dre.
Hey, Dre.
I'm Kim.
Hey, Kim.
I'm Pinky.
Hey, Pinky. How's it going?
Oh, it's going. We're making the most of it.
What's the last 2 weeks been for you guys like?
You know what's funny is the first time you had mentioned us, we got lots of followers from the UK.
Come on!
Yeah, we've had some great friends reach out and inquire and ask the same questions, and I had a really good talk with one of my friends from the UK I met through you yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he asked how things were for us, and it's like I'm very, very happy that Trump is being removed from office because we feel like he was using racism as the primary fuel to drive his campaign. So we really wanted him out of there. We hope that Biden does good by us, but to be honest, as black men in America, we can't say wholeheartedly that any politician has done any good by us.
Yeah.
So we're hopeful and we're happy that the orange man has been removed. but
He was
we
being
we
super sus.
we will
Orange was
see.
being sus, y'all.
Yeah, we will see. But we're doing good, moving and grooving and creating and loving each other and loving you and everyone else.
I was checking out your Instagram site, and anybody who and I really implore people to go and visit your Instagram site, because what I love is your positivity and the light, and you talk about holding the light and spreading the love and the good vibes, and it's just, it's funny, even in social media, I think that's one of the amazing tools about this thing, that it can be such a force for negativity, right? But it can be such a force for good and connection. And I remember, like, I think it was 3 weeks ago when you just connected. There was something, I don't know what you said. I don't know what it was like. I think it was, maybe you said, we're a black rock band from Louisville, Kentucky. But the energy that sort of accompanied that, I was just like, this is like, I feel, it's like you can feel it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, definitely,
It's
definitely.
amazing that.
Yeah, energy is strong via any
Yeah,
medium, whether it's
yeah,
conversation or someone writing a letter or a comment.
yeah,
Everything has, energy attached to it, and if we pay close enough attention, you can feel it,
yeah.
no
Can I
matter
ask
the
you?
distance.
Can I ask you a bit about Louisville, Kentucky? Because I've never been there, right? And I guess the stereotype of Kentucky is it's Appalachian. Is it Appalachian hills?
No, we're actually in the city. It's metropolitan. It's an industrial area, but there
Okay.
are on the outskirts. There goes the city. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Whereabouts are you? Whereabouts are you?
we
In the
are
center.
downtown in Louisville,
Okay.
Kentucky. We are
Wow.
we're about a block from our what's it called, the Yum Center, our arena. So if you were ever
Okay.
to play here, you would be a block from where we're at right now
Okay.
at
Cool.
the Yum Center.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Louisville's it's a city. It's not as big as a Chicago. But it's not
Yeah.
as small as other places. We make the most of it.
What's it like for a rap? What's it like for a rock band? I mean, do you have like a following? Have you got like, is there a good scene?
Um, what do you all think? I mean, he's a master guitarist, so he's danced all around the scene. What do you think the scene is like? Then I'll give my opinion of it.
There's a lot of musicians around. They just don't have an outlet or anyone pushing them to be more than what it is. But you know, there's always gonna be people. What I'm saying, learning.
Yeah.
But everybody really has an outlet here to showcase stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I
Is
feel
that?
like they're. And I'm listening to you. What were you gonna say?
No, no. Sorry, I prefer to listen to you.
Oh, okay. I think there's a pretty strong developing art scene here in general. Over the last few years, the art scene has been developing, and there are cool venues and stuff opening up, and cool bands emerging. Us being one of them, and a lot of people are here taking their crafts very seriously. No one's like blown up here, from rock and roll, but we have some big hip hop acts, and Chris Stapleton is from Kentucky, somewhere around
Yeah.
here. Not Louisville, but he's from Kentucky. So Kentucky's doing pretty well, and we're doing our just due and working hard as a unit every day to contribute to the artistic reputation of our city. And
Wow. So who would have been you? So when you guys, how long have you been a band together?
we've been a band about 3 years. We've been making
Okay.
music of all different genres and sorts for a decade. And we've
Wow.
all
So
been locked in for 10 years together.
so what kind of what? I'd say with Radiohead, like we signed as we formed as a high school band in '85, and then we got signed at the end of '91. But in that time, it was really important because we went through kind of different genres, different types of songs. We started off in '85. I was obsessed with the Smiths. Like completely
That's good stuff.
obsessed.
We love it. That's good stuff. It's my
And
last name.
yeah, oh, is it your last name? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, the Smiths are on because you guys are too young to have been around when the Smiths first came out, but they're on your radar, right?
Yes.
We've heard
Yeah, definitely.
So there was the Smiths, and then there was like Joy Division, was Colin's thing, Tom was really into Elvis Costello and REM, and I was into REM and the Bunnymen, and Philip was into sort of kind of alternative, and Johnny was into the Fall, but we went through all these kind of stylistic changes. We kind of we got into like a little bit of ska and all of that stuff. So have you guys kind of what kind of genres have you dipped your toe in?
Yeah, I mean our the pool of inspiration that we swim out of is very, very vast. I mean, he's been playing guitar for almost 20 years, and he
Wow.
grew up playing in a church.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
most genres. I played in R&B bands, and then I'm playing in rock bands, and played with a lot of people.
Yeah, me pretty much. My musical pool that I pull from is Radiohead inspires me. A whole hell of a lot. You guys have got me through some really tough moments.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, Chili Peppers. I mean, you said Joy Division.
Yeah.
I mean, I love The Cure.
Yeah.
Of course, we all love the Bob Dylans. As a writer, I love Bob Dylan a lot.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix, and at the same time, Jay-Z's and Kanye West's and
Yeah.
Kid Cudi's.
Yeah.
I've rapped for a long time. I made hip hop music. Yeah, I grew up in the projects. I wanted to be a rocker, but in the hood, like that'll get you picked on growing up.
That strikes me as like being from the projects. I obviously don't know the projects, but being a rocker from an early age, that strikes you out as being different, right? You're really different.
Yeah, and being different there, like
Yeah.
it's just one of those systematic things. We all just had less, so
Yeah.
everyone, even like without knowing so, had this little chip of negativity on their shoulder. So we were all always nitpick at each other, who had what, who didn't have this. So if you weren't doing what everyone looked at as cool, you'd be the kid getting picked on or having to fight at school or whatever. So I ended up suppressing my dream of playing guitar and writing beautiful songs to rap, because it was still a way I could express myself, but it wasn't what I really wanted to do. But with rap, I had some good times. It's like a journal. It's like my audio journal. Just rapping and rhyming my words and telling my story. I got pretty good at it. I had a song with Snoop Dogg once.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, what is it? Let's check it out. We got to.
We're gonna check it out only here.
Yeah, of course. Well, I won't check it out now. But what's it called?
It's called Sports Center.
It's called Sports Center, and it's the remix. Sports Center's 2 words in this particular one.
Okay,
and
remix.
he produced it.
I made the beat.
He made the beat.
Oh, good man. I love this. This is so.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, like, the journeys that we all go on in life, the detours that we take, and that, like you said, you wanted to do music, so you go to, you don't want to do rock because it makes you stand out, and you get into hip hop. But what you learned in that, what you've all learned in doing your thing, is you come with your very own, and you have your own unique sound, your own music, and that all that stuff will have contributed to where you are now, right? I mean, it's in there. It's in the DNA.
Definitely.
It's really interesting. I mean, the whole thing about playing in church and stuff like that. Alvin, who's Alvin Ford Jr., who's been my drummer for my solo stuff. We were playing live, and unfortunately we couldn't do it this year. But Alvin's from New Orleans, and his father, he grew up playing in the church, and his father was a gospel drummer. And it's I'm so fascinated by it, because it seems to me that so many of my heroes, whether it's Aretha, whether it's, Ray Charles, or, all these people, they all start in church, right? And it's like, I don't understand that. But what I'd say, so you learn the musical chops, and, you have that thing as a young age, and you're doing that. But here's the other thing, and I'm going to throw it out here, because the spiritual path is the path that I walk. I think also what happens in the church, in those churches where you're playing, maybe not all of them, but some of them, is you're kind of infused with you understand, you learn that kind of the power of spirit.
I agree.
It's a
part of
part of you, right? And
yeah.
that makes your music so much more powerful because as musicians, all I'm trying to do as a musician is become a greater vessel, for that. For,
Yeah.
some people call it God, Star Wars, they call it the Force.
Yeah.
It's that connection, that divine connection. And I
Learning
think
in
that,
church.
would you
No,
agree with that?
learning in church, it definitely teaches you how to connect with that spirit, like early on, like as a kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my piano teacher who taught me keys at a young age, I started playing drums with her at church, and that's how I really became a musician to play with other musicians.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it teaches you how to play with people. It teaches you
Yeah.
how to, you know what I'm saying?
communicate feelings through
Yeah.
Yeah.
drums with like eye contact. Like me and him look at each other all the time when he's soloing. I have to know when he's going to end the solo, so
Yeah.
I have to feel that though.
It
It's not
teaches you how
it's
to,
not something
you know
that
what
can
I'm
be
saying,
taught.
communicate.
To
And
work
that
in
soul,
progress.
connection, right? That thing that goes deep. It's so. Yeah. I think it's so. It's because that I got to tell you that the churches here. I don't know if you know what the churches are like here. I
No, I'm
mean,
not sure.
they weren't like those churches.
I will say I've been to a lot of different types of churches, and there are different types of churches. I've been
Yeah.
to churches who aren't used to having music at all, and I've
Yeah.
been to churches who are primarily like focused on the music, and that's like the experience. So it's just depends on what type of church it is.
As a musician that's never like played in the church at all, like being around church musicians is like the most competitive, spiritual, like they really get down. It's very
Yeah.
it's intimidating too if you didn't come
Wow.
up playing in that
So
realm.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
another aspect of it. It's very competitive. It's like there's only one band playing at a time, and there might be a lot of musicians in church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like who's gonna be it?
It's
Who's gonna
like a
be the best?
spiritual sport.
It's definitely a
It's an
spiritual choice.
incredible thing. Like I like, like taught myself to like, play guitar like in a closet,
Yeah.
scared that people would hear me and tell me that I sucked.
Yeah.
So, when I get around him, he's like, just do it, just come on and just play with everyone and get in there. And it's like these dudes are like guitar serial killers and like they're just really incredible. So I mean that church energy is like
Yeah.
it's a huge beacon of just strength.
Yeah,
It's
it just
it's
teaches you to go.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'd love
Teach you
to.
to
I mean,
go.
that's one of the things that I want to do next time I come over. I want to actually experience. And I said to Alvin, I said, I'd love to come to church with you and your family. I'd love to. And maybe when we come to Louisville, Kentucky, I could come to church with you guys as well because, those of you who go will take me because it's like, I don't know, you just get a sense of the community and the love and the connection and the power. And it's kind of, like I grew up in Oxford in England. We grew up in Oxford, England, and you know what us Brits are like anyway. At the best time, they're quite zipped up, quite correct. We say the right things. Oxford is to the nth degree. It's like so. For me, one of the great things about going to Brazil was unzipping. It was like shedding the skin and living in Brazil, and it's like an opening of the heart. And I think that's the thing that I really love about when I talk to Alvin or whatever, and I see footage of a young Whitney Houston singing in church when she was a kid or something. You just get the spirit, this power, and I
Yeah, it's
think.
that sense of community you speak of.
Yeah, and I think I guess as well, it's so important because, for so long, Black Americans have been second class and still are second class citizens in their own country. In so many ways that power that you've had from the church and the love and the community, that with family must be. It's like the heart of your existence. It's like must give so much strength, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. I can feel the energy. I did not
Yeah.
spend much time in church, but being around my brother, the king of the church guitarist, king of the guitarist in general,
I
I
can't
can
wait to
feel
hear
the
you. We
church
need to.
energy.
We need to get you guys over when it all ends. We need to get you over and do a gig over here, and
I
we
mean,
need to try and make this happen or something.
I'd swim over there to do that.
Oh,
Tomorrow.
What's funny with you saying that you haven't experienced the church? I saw you all in Cincinnati the last time you toured over here, and I
Yeah,
brought one of my brothers to see you that's heard of never heard your music really. And I'm
yeah.
like, bro, you have to see Radiohead. And the first thing that we took some acid and we came to see you all. And the first thing he said when it was over was, "Man, that was soul music. That's not rock and roll.
Yeah,
That's soul music."
yeah.
So the fact that you haven't been, in the churches here, but like what you're doing still provides that same element. It
That
still
spirit
has that
exists in
that
a lot of
spirit
places.
exists a lot of places.
That's what it
Yeah.
is, and that's the best compliment. I mean, like I think, like Radiohead and what I do. I've talked about it. It's like it's soul music, and it is
Yeah.
music from the soul. It's from the heart and soul, and that is. I mean, that's why we used. I remember when we brought the Bends out in '95, because Pablo Honey wasn't soul music. Creep had its Creep's soul in the kind and obviously not soul in the genre, but soul music. But I
Yeah.
remember like when we sort of changed tack really on the Bends, and we started, people stopped seeing us as one hit wonders, and they go, oh, hang on a second. And I remember it was Marcella Detroit from a band called Shakespeare's Sister, and they just had this big #1 hit, and she'd just come to see us live. And I'd seen some quote, and she said, Radiohead are a soul band. And I thought that was the greatest compliment, because I think that is, for all, for all the kind of the sonic wizardry, or but the sonic advancement and stuff that we do, and all of that stuff that we've done. I think the key thing has been having the soul in the center, because it's if all that music, all those sounds don't mean really. I mean, they can be interesting, but they can be interesting sounds, but unless
Yeah.
heart and soul are attached to them, they don't go deep. It's just like it's like an academic exercise, and I think that is the key. That is the key to anything that you do, and of course, I think the greatest thing that you can do is to have that heart and soul and love at the center of what you do, and then you have the sonic
Yeah.
adventure on.
Yeah. I think
So
the soul is first, and then the rest.
yeah,
The rest follows.
the rest is
Yeah.
icing on the cake.
Yeah. Though the technicalities and
Yeah,
the notes and whatever, those are all embellishments. The meat and potatoes is definitely going to come from your soul in any creative endeavor. If you're looking to express something coming from
yeah,
a more supreme being,
yeah,
like, and you spoke about yourself acting as a vessel, and that's
yeah.
really where it comes from.
It comes through you, and I mean that's the thing. It's like it's that thing, this thing, like with music and musicians, and it's not like this all the time, but a great gig or a great something, it's like, or something, when you write something, and I don't like using that term, I wrote this or this. I much rather say this came out, because it's not an academic exercise. It's something that you pick up, that it just happens, and then you can develop that. You can apply, your mind to it. But I always think it comes from somewhere else, and I always think that this thing as well, like I probably mentioned this before on these things, but a song is kind of, all the songs ever written are out there. They're
Mhm.
all there. And if you take that concept of, cutting edge science, which is, there is no linear time. So past, present, and future are all thrown together at the same time. And maybe just it might be on our planet, in order for us to cope with, we have to have a past, a present, and a future. But the idea that everything is out there. And as a musician, or as anything, as an inventor or anything, we're just dialing into that frequency to where that thing comes through. And I really believe that when
Yeah.
and this, when a song happens, you're chipping away at trying to find its character rather than forcing things on it. There's the element of trying stuff on it is more a case of, it's like a sculpture sculpting away, going, oh, that feels right, that's not so good. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
it's like it's out there.
Yeah.
It's kind of fully formed, and it's your job as a musician to find that. I really have a real sense of that. I mean, I might be talking bollocks, but I probably am.
No, no, that's 100% accurate. We just really try to take the messages from the universe,
Yeah,
whatever the universe sends to us,
yeah,
and we get together and try to come up with the best way to articulate what the universe is giving us so that you can understand it, or
yeah,
that another listener can understand whatever the message is that we're trying to articulate. But like you said, it doesn't really come from us. It's not an intellectual thing at all. It's all
yeah,
having experience and having an experience in your life and
yeah,
translating that experience to the rest of the world that may need the translation or may need a song to make them feel less alone, or they may need to hear someone sing about their hardships, you know, to know that other people are going through that.
mm,
And the universe just uses, you know, people like you, or people like us, or a painter or whoever,
yeah,
to articulate those expressions and emotions so we can make one another comfortable. You know,
yeah.
that's really all it's about. So the universe sends us the meat and potatoes, and we just, like you said, just chip away what's not needed, what's necessary, and try to package it up in the most effective song form we can, and just get the message to whoever needs
When did
it.
you, okay, so I totally agree with you. When did you, have you always felt this? Was this kind of like, as a kid, did you feel this, or is this something that it's like an awakening in your life? Is it,
Oh,
what brought you to,
as a kid, I mean, me personally, like I grew up. My mom wasn't around much. She had me when she was really young, so she was still, you know, running around in the streets, having fun, living life, which is fine because I was a young father, and
yeah,
my dad went to prison, and he was gone. So as a kid, you know, I would find myself sometimes, you know, in the basement, you know, in the corner, singing songs to myself to make me feel better. You know, I would sing about, you know, my dad's coming home, or, you know, just
wow,
make songs about, you know, whatever, whether it be the Power Rangers and make I'm the new Brown Ranger or whatever. Like I sung songs to make myself feel better. So I realized that, hey, music can make people feel better. And I remember that I was in the projects about 11 years old. I think it was 2001. I saw the Chili Peppers on the Video Music Awards, and Flea made me feel so damn good. And I'm like, that was when I signed off. Like, okay, so it doesn't just make me feel better when I do it. Other people make me feel better when they do it. I want to do what he's doing. And then I met my brothers, and they want to do the same thing. So I think we've always had it in us innately. Um, it's nothing that I can put a finger on when it happened. I just wanted to feel better. And when I learned that I could do it through music, I decided that I would try to share that with other people and try to help them feel better.
can I just, you know, like you've just given a little bit of what you grown up with, and can I just say, like, well done, because to have your positivity and, you know, that viewpoint, I'm sure, you know, a lot of people probably, what, you know, me might have experienced, might people have gone under in a way, and I don't, you know, I don't want to be, but that it's such a, because you strike me as like, I'm sorry if I'm a bit forward, but this is what I, you're such a positive, strong person, as you all are, guys, you know, and to have taken those hardships and turning them into something positive is just fucking amazing. Like, you know,
Yeah, thank you. You know, it's just
it's amazing.
at the end of the day, it's like everything's about perspective.
Yeah,
When something terrible happens to you, like it's not about what happened to you, it's about how you respond or what you take away from what happened to you. You know, if you look at it that way, then a lot of times struggle is your blessing. You
yeah,
know, if there wasn't for some of the things that we may have been through, we may not have came up with some of the songs that we came up with.
yeah,
If it wasn't for, you know, some of the losses that we've taken, we wouldn't be as grateful as we are. We wouldn't appreciate and value the hours and the time and the friendship. Or conversations like this wouldn't matter as much. So you have to just learn how to take your hardships and your struggles and alter the way you look at them, and
yeah,
look at those as, you know, gifts in a sense.
It's so amazing you said, because I check in with this she's a shaman, essentially, you know, what you want to call it, shaman. She's, some people would say she's a white witch or whatever. And she says exactly this. She says about the lives that we're born into, that the struggle is a tool for us to develop, for our soul development, for our soul journey. We are given the tools, and that we all have different journeys, and we've all, you know, reincarnate. I mean, I definitely subscribe to, to me, the doctrine of reincarnation makes so much sense, and it's kind of part, so that this life that you're born into, you know, you have the tools. Because I'd say, for my example, like, I have a completely different, for years and years and years, I my thing was guilt. It was just like, fuck, it was just like, why, you know, I'm so lucky and I'm not deserving of this, and there are so many people who aren't as fortunate, and, you know, blah 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 blah. And as soon as I, you know, went on this Buddhist tip, and, you know, started exploring and then understanding about life, it's something like, okay, no, rather than feeling guilty about the cards that you've been given, it's like, be thankful, be so thankful, and go, yes, I'm so. And, you know, like, within all, you know, I've had a very blessed life, but also within it, I've had depression and issues of childhood. But I realized that all those things, those challenges that we have, are tools for us to grow. You know what I mean? And
Yes,
you've had
definitely.
way more acute situations than I have, but, you know, you've obviously grown, and your journey is incredible because you've embraced that. And you do know, you know, we all know that those moments of challenge, it's harder when you're younger, because you whatever, it's harder to get your head around it in a way, because you don't have a bigger picture. But when you're older, you realize, if you can get into your head that the challenges that you face are ways for you to grow. And when you're in it, it's like fucking hell, isn't it? It's so hard.
Yeah,
But when you come out the other side, if you can come to that place where you go, what, I wouldn't change anything about that, because that's where I did most of my growing. That's where I did most of my learning.
yeah,
Right?
I definitely, I will agree. You know, I agree wholeheartedly. And at the end of the day, it's like, our stories are our stories, and like I said, it's all about perspective. So we don't tell them and share them for anyone to feel like our burdens or our struggles are any worse than anyone else's. I don't think that there's levels, and, you know, circumstances are different and the neighborhoods are different, but there's only so many emotions a human can feel. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that you've felt all the emotions that we've felt, you know, and I'm pretty sure that, you know, someone in some third world country has felt them worse than all of us. So it's
Yeah.
not really about empathy or sympathy. It's just, you know, about those emotions and knowing that we're all feeling them and trying to comfort and support one another through them in our entirety, and to just do our best job to let our brothers and sisters, like, worldwide, know that we can be okay if we channel our mind and our perspective to view these struggles in the correct way. You know, we don't have to let them bring us down.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it's all, like you said, it's an exercise for transition.
Yeah.
You speak about reincarnation, you know, and it's, we go through all of this to prepare us for the next lifetime, you know, because it keeps happening. You keep getting better, and you keep getting better, and then one day we're all kings and queens of some sort,
Yeah.
you know. But you got to put in your work, and
Yeah.
we're all putting in work and suffering and getting better.
I've had that thing with Johnny Marr, who's great, you know, who's great, amazing guitarist, songwriter,
Yeah,
legend, music figure. And I've said this to him quite a few times, because I've been getting like, he's somebody I quite often check in with guitar wise, kind of like, I need to grow, I need to do blah
he's
blah blah.
so good.
He's so good, right? And he's always trying to get better and better and better. And one thing that we often say to one another is, it's like, can't do it in this lifetime. I have to do it in the next one. And it's just about getting better on the guitar. I'll get better on the guitar in my next lifetime.
Next
You
time.
know, maybe I'll be able to
That's the
play like
thing.
Hendrix or John McLaughlin, or, you know, or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the thing.
but yeah, it's yeah. Well, I mean, so have you, no shows, right? You've got there are no shows in
No,
October.
working on our. We have all the music written, and we're working and rehearsing for our album. We're gonna try to
Wicked.
record sometime in our next album, sometime in January or February. So we're using this time off to just
Yeah.
create and to just get in a rhythm with one another because we, took some breaks from rehearsal. Our
Yeah.
drummer back here just had a baby.
Oh, wow.
He had a daughter. Yeah. So,
Oh,
and he's just getting
beautiful.
back into playing. So we're just really trying to lock
Yeah.
in our new music. So whenever the world permits us to travel and perform for people, we have
Yeah.
some new love to share.
I'd
And
love to, or maybe when we come over and do some shows, like my solo shows, maybe we could try and hook up with you guys for a couple of gigs. You come and we could play together or something.
yeah, I mean that would be
I like that.
incredible.
That would
Be
be
a dream
cool.
come
It can
through
be gigs, it can be rehearsals. We can go set up drum
at
circles
Yeah.
the
park.
park.
I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can do
we
that.
should do, or maybe we should do a gig or something, a couple of gigs, because that would be really fun. And I
Yeah,
mean, how far how far is Louisville from? Is it quite a long way? I'm sorry, I'm sounding like a real.
come on.
It's like somebody saying, "Is Moscow near to Berlin?" Um, is Charlottesville, Virginia, anywhere near Louisville, Kentucky?
It's Charlottesville, Virginia's probably
Oh,
about
about 800
9
miles.
hours. The thing
Okay.
is, I've driven across this entire country like 15 times, so the nine
Yeah.
hours is nothing.
Yeah, I know. I traveled around. I probably bored everyone, but I traveled around America by Greyhound in 1987, and
Yeah,
that was amazing.
it's a
You
good
guys
time.
weren't even
Americans like the
born, right?
road.
Yeah,
What'd you
you weren't
say?
even born. You guys weren't even born then, right? 87.
No,
So
89 for me.
87 on a Greyhound bus in America, you could smoke cigarettes on the back seat.
What?
Yeah, yeah. And I was a 19-year-old smoker.
What were you doing here at 19? What were you doing here?
All I wanted to do, like a lot of kids growing up in Britain through the 70s and 80s, America was like this golden country. Because like Britain, not so much in the 80s, it was beginning to wake up, but the 70s it was really dark. So it was always seemed to be power cuts and dark weather and cold and no central heating. And we get these American TV shows. We get like the Rockford Files, Starsky and Hutch. We get we get all the cartoons like Scooby Doo.
My
And
favorite.
yeah, I love Scooby Doo. I didn't like it when Scrappy came in. I'm not having any of that Scrappy Doo nonsense, but Scooby.
like the original.
Yeah. When
Actually,
when you
someone
got when you got to America, was it what you expected it to be?
and more. It was amazing. I mean, I loved it, and because the other thing was in those days as well. Like the Greyhound stations were always in kind of the rough part of town. They were downtown. And downtown in those times, like downtown LA, I remember we traveled overnight from San Francisco to LA, and we turned up in downtown LA in 1987. And it was like, honestly, it was worse. I'd been to India. I'd been to India on holiday. It was worse than India in terms of the poverty. I could not believe it. I could not believe that this first world country had third world, and then and other things like going around the back of, I remember on the train actually on the Amtrak going around the back of Baltimore, and this is like Bombay. I could not believe it. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I thought like it was so interesting because it was really great actually, because I was a very kind of earnest, curious 19-year-old. I knew my history. I love politics. JFK and the civil rights movement was something that I'd studied at school. So I was really I came over with a load of questions. And it was interesting because I looked like I was 10 years old. I
Yeah.
was a complete kid, but I think that naivety, I remember arriving in New Orleans and our youth hostel we arrived at 6 a.m, and the youth hostel was about a mile and a half from the bus station. It was right through the ghetto, right through one of the ghettos. And because I had no fear whatsoever, and I would talk to people, it was just brilliant. And I remember, and this has always resonated with me, and I haven't sort of said this live, but so I would do this a lot. So I'd go to the back of the bus and I'd have a cigarette. And I was usually, it would be fair to say, there weren't many white kids traveling on the bus. It was a lot of Hispanics, a lot of Black Americans. It was, and it was amazing because as soon as I opened my mouth and I was British, it was kind of like, oh, well, you're not part of the problem almost. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I was, and it was interesting because there was also the misconception that Britain is some kind of racial utopia and I was like, and they go, oh, like, brilliant, Britain's amazing. I said, well, you're talking to the wrong guy. I wouldn't know, but I don't think it is. I know that we had the Brixton riots in 1980, Black British citizens harassed by the police. I'm aware of that. I haven't experienced it. But tell you what was amazing was that because I was British and I was curious, it opened myself to a lot of amazing conversations. And so I would often as a 19-year-old, I would often go like, so what's America for you? And I always remember this, and it's such a poetic thing. So that drive, leaving San Francisco, and we left, because what we tried to do is this is me and my friend Nick, we tried to take night buses because it would save on accommodation, because we didn't have any money. Even the youth hostel, $10. So we'd sleep on the bus overnight. And I remember we were leaving, going over one of the bridges, and it's so beautiful, the scene, and it's the lights of San Francisco. It's kind of magical. And I'm talking to this guy, and and I always shared my cigarettes. You want a cigarette? Yeah, I smoke Marlboro Lights or whatever. And I said to him, I said, so what's America like for you? And he looked out the window, and I always remember, he said, man, America is a white man's country. And it was like, it made such an impression on me. Like, you felt the force and the weight of those words, And I think that's why, one thing I just wanted to ask you a little bit was how how the whole explosion of Black Lives Matter this year and the taking to how you felt about that, because as a white privileged person living over here, it feels so powerful, and it feels like you can't ever go back. The genie's out of the bottle, right?
Yes, that is that's true. That's how we feel, and we want to keep the energy consistent in the most peaceful and loving way. But we do want our communities to continue to transition to a better place, and
Yeah.
it's beyond policy. It's from promotion of physical wealth to promotion of financial literacy to inclusion in different workplaces. It's like, I don't want our community to think that since Donald Trump is out of office, or because there are Black Lives Matter t-shirts everywhere, that the work is done. There are still things we need to do on a internal basis, a foundational basis within our community to continue to move in an upward trajectory. But I do think that the toughest bit of everyone opening their eyes and seeing the power that we have to become more than what we've been labeled as has shown itself. Like, our light has shown itself, our strength has shown itself, and I just want our community to keep moving in that upward trajectory in the most positive and beautiful way, so we can reshape the community and not just rely solely on a change of policy because someone else is in office. That is a step, but we have to know that there's more to it and educate ourselves, look for the education, look for the knowledge, take care of our bodies, make a more powerful effort on our end to rid our neighborhood, of the drugs, of a lot of
Yeah.
the violence that we've been urged to do. That is a systemic thing. People like to look at us in our communities like we're just killing each other and selling crack to everyone because that's just what we're born to do. we were just given nothing. We were given nothing, and then we were given guns and we were given drugs. We don't have boats. We didn't
Yeah.
have boats in the 80s, so how did the drugs get there? We didn't go in on our speed boats and get them. But that's a whole nother thing, that's a
Yeah.
conspiracy or whatever. But we want people to know that there's more to our community and more to us than that, and that we are a loving and nurturing group of people. I've never, ever, ever wanted to hate anyone, not even my worst enemy, let alone a person that I don't know because their skin is different than mine. So we want people to know that we're only here to love and we mean well. But for us to help anyone else, we first have to get our feet on solid ground and help ourselves. We have to build foundation. And that's pretty much how I
I
feel
think
about
I think
it.
I think we need you guys in politics. I think we need you. It's a dirty game.
Yeah,
Thank you. I
it's
mean,
rough.
it's so brilliant. Honestly, I can't tell you how great it is to connect with you, because you're there over there in Louisville, Kentucky. Very different different circumstances, different ages, different generations. But honestly, it's so it's really it's just it feels good, right? It feels good to
Yes,
connect. We're connecting, and this is a powerful time on this planet. This social media, this internet can be such a force for good.
yeah,
It brings people together. It can bring us together. Used correctly.
definitely. It's definitely beautiful, and you're using it in a phenomenal manner, considering how new you are to it and how you hardly even know how to do anything on here. You're
Well, you
doing
should hear my
such a
kids.
good job.
My kids. How old are you? How old are your? How old are you? How are your kids?
My oldest daughter is 13.
Okay,
She'll be 14 in December. I had her when I was 16. My
you're
youngest is
way too
5.
young to.
Yeah, my
Wow,
youngest is 5, and my
wow, well
middle
done.
child is 11. I have 3 kids.
Well done. So I've got Sal is 16 and Una's 14, and they've got social media down, right?
Yeah,
So I've only been doing it for a year. So at supper this evening, I cooked. I did fish and chips tonight. Did a bit of nice. Got some nice fresh mackerel, and did some fries that cooked. I roast them in the oven and did a salad and stuff. So I'm pretty. Everybody's well fed. And what were they banging on about? Oh yeah, they criticised a photo that got put up on the Radiohead website, on the Radiohead Instagram today, which was talking about this. And they said, it's such a bad photo. What are you doing? And I said, well, I don't care. I mean, I'm like, I said, I said, well, I don't care. I mean, it's just like, and I said, and that's the thing I said. I said, my whole thing, social media, I'm not trying to present the best side of myself. I want I'm happy to not look, my best or whatever. I'm not bothered. And they're like, oh, you got it so wrong. And I just turned around and I said, who's got 50,000 followers? When you got, I said, when you got 50,000 followers, you can advise me.
Yeah, I'm the professor.
I'm in
yeah,
agreement with you there, Ed,
And then
because
they're like, 50,000 followers, nothing, Daddy. All right.
yes,
And I go, fair enough. Obviously I'm kidding on that part, but,
no,
but I did say that to try and, pull their whatever.
try to pull their card. Yeah,
Yeah,
social media,
exactly.
I think social media has definitely made a thing where, especially Instagram, this platform that we're on right now, people want to highlight and showcase the best side of everything. So
Yeah.
I think it's also really, it's more human to share the good and the bad.
I
So it's like,
totally, and I mean, I don't think as well. There's this thing. It's like the fear of people kind of showing their, showing their other side or not their best side. I mean, you know, the experience of life is we all have we all have places, moments that we shine. We all have things that we're good, but we also have our flaws, and that's part of being a human being. And I don't judge anybody. I'm not judging anybody else by their flaws, or it's that's where the richness of life is. It's not like presenting just one side of it. Am I, I look good, or it's the whole thing. That's what makes it interesting. That's
yeah,
what makes it real.
yeah, balance. We all need balance. It's all
Yeah, and
about
vulnerability.
balance.
Somebody says showing your vulnerability. Yeah, I mean, especially, in our societies that, in a kind of Western society, I think certainly for men, but also for women, it's that, you know, we're scared to be vulnerable. And I think one of the joys about getting older is, you know, saying to your kids, they're having a go. You
Yeah.
say, I don't know. This is the first time I've been a dad. I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, you
Yeah.
know, it's funny, isn't it? Like when we think of our parents, we thought our parents, like, they knew all the answers. But actually, like when we've had it's been turned around to me, it's just like occasionally I've gone like, when I'm kind of at my wits' end, it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
do the best. I've never done this before. I didn't go to school they didn't teach me how to be a dad. No.
You know what's crazy is I feel like I've learned more from my kids being a dad than they've learned from me
Spot
being
on,
my
my friend.
children. Yeah, they taught me so much. Taught me
Totally.
how to love, taught me
They're like a
patience.
mirror. They're like a
Yeah, all the
mirror.
important stuff.
Yeah, all the important stuff. And also for me, it was like all my shortcomings. Like
Hmm.
like the moment Sal was born, I was just like, suddenly it was just like, uh-oh, I got to do this, you know. And it's true. I totally agree with you. You learn way more from your kids than your kids learn from you. I really believe that.
Yeah, wholeheartedly. If you just look at parenting from the right position and know that it's a learning experience, and your kids are not just your kids, but they're also their own strong individual entities, and they have
Yeah,
something to contribute, and they're
yeah,
bringing more to the table than just being your kid. You know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. One
Hey, listen,
thing.
I'm gonna love you and leave you. Um,
Okay.
I just
One
want
more
to
thing,
say,
though, please. One more
yeah,
thing. I'm sorry. I don't
yeah.
want to stop you, but
No, no,
you've called us. Everyone calls us Pack G.
Pat
So,
G.
yeah, our name. That's what you've called us, but our name is Producing a Kind Generation. It's an acronym.
Ah, I love that.
Yeah.
Of course, producing kind
So,
generation.
yeah, I just want to make sure that you
I
know our
love that.
name. Yeah, I want you to
Well,
know.
I love the thing as well that kindness as well. That's a big thing that I have. Sorry, I'm not that the fact that you've used the word kind, because I don't know, like growing up, I don't know what it was like for you, but it wasn't one of the being kind. My mother always taught me to be kind. That was one thing. She's like amazing. She said, treat people as you want to be treated. And it made impression. So I tried to be, I mean, I erred obviously sometimes. I wasn't always kind. And there were a couple of people I feel really badly about when I was younger that I wasn't kind. But, but kindness growing up, especially when a teenage boy, there was no value on it. It was about how actually unkind you could be. Like the cool
Yes.
boys, they were like they were hard, and they were the ones who could throw some words down that were unkind. They were the quickest, and that wasn't me at all. I didn't have that down at all. And but I think as I got older, I realized that kindness actually was really important, and that's, you know, it, yeah, I love the way that that's in your, you know, because that's, again, for men don't, you don't often hear men use the word kind. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a missing art. Love and kindness is a missing art.
Yeah.
We tend to try to overassert our masculinity. That's not healthy for humanity at all. But you got the answers. You're doing it the right way.
You know, we need to hang out.
Yeah,
I
we'll make
seriously,
sure.
I want to come to Louisville, Kentucky, and I would love to come, and, you know, I've really, really, really enjoyed this, and we hang out as friends and musicians, and, you know, I really, really would love to do that. I'm going to check it out on the map. See, you know, it's how far away is Cincinnati?
Cincinnati is only an hour from here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
an hour.
wow.
So, you know,
I remember walking in Cincinnati, walking over the bridge, because you walk over the bridge into Kentucky, don't you?
yeah, you can. Yeah,
Yeah. And there's an amazing guitar dealer in Cincinnati.
yeah. You guys did a triple encore, I think, in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Did a bunch of B-sides.
I bought an amazing Rickenbacker that
Yeah,
day. 12-string Rickenbacker from this 1960s Rickenbacker from this guitar dealer. I'd never seen it. I took a taxi out to his house about half an hour outside of Cincinnati, and I go into the basement, and it's like, oh my God. I was lucky just to get out with just two guitars.
yeah. It sounds beautiful. I want to
No, I'd
play it
love
one day.
to.
When I
Yeah,
make it
I'd
work,
love
I'll play
to.
it one day.
Yeah, I'd love to come down, and honestly, I'll DM you after this, and we'll, you know, Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Man, thank you so much for having us. What you're doing is beautiful. We
What,
love this. So many people love you for this, and keep doing this, okay?
well, what you're doing is beautiful, and you guys are, you know, like yourselves and so many people out there. You are the real inspirations. I'm the lucky one because I have this light that, you know, whatever. But you guys are on this incredible journey, and I hope that we can play together, and musically you just grow and bloom, and you get your message out there. And I'll see you on the circuit. But I would love to come and, you know, come and hook up in Louisville and or another city, and we'll do a show, do some shows together or something.
All right, and we're gonna hold you to it, man. Love you,
All
brother.
right,
Thank you.
love you, brothers. Lovely.
Talk soon.
All right, cool guys. Thank you.
Peace.
Peace. Okay, that was so. That was amazing. Thank you guys. I wonder if I've got a sleeping dog in the corner. Do you want to see Ziggy? Just say goodbye to Ziggy. Zig, do you want to come over here? Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, you sleepy girl. Come here. Oh, come on. Come up here. Come here. Come here, Tony. Come say hello. Oh. Oh. Okay, that fell off. This is Ziggy. You haven't seen it for a while. Look. This is Ziggy. Yeah. She's enjoyed the move, except Ziggy. Ziggy, come here, darling. Come here. Please don't do a poo on the carpet like you did this morning. Okay? That wasn't fun. Okay? She did a poo on the carpet. Oh, yeah. Oh, darling. Okay. Lots of love to you all. I hope you have we'll do this next week. And thank you for joining. And that was amazing. I want to thank, that was such a great conversation. And it's so amazing to connect. Be good, be kind to yourself, be kind to one another, and big love. All right. See you soon.